Kobo Abel, I'm back again. Yes. So nimerudi tena. Yep. Ik bin wieder zurück. So today it's about the European continent. Yeah, today we are in Wikipedia. Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about Europe because I'm living in Europe. I'm living in Switzerland. I'm Abel Combo. And I come from Kenya, Africa. But I'm going to tell you that even Africa and Europe and Asia is one continent. There is no other thing to think about it now because one continent is Europe, my friend. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about Europe, continent Europe, the GDP, how big it is, the population of Europe, yes, and all those other things, yeah? Okay, so let's start. Before I start, I pray. I'm a Christian, and you know, Christians, they're supposed to be wise. You understand? They have to be informated. You know what I mean? They have to know things. Then they will know the scripture of God, you know. So let's pray. Father God, the Father who is in heaven, the Father who said there will be a light, it was the light, the Lord of Abraham, Jacob, and Isaac. I thank you, Jesus Christ, you died for my sin and resurrected from the third day. Jesus Christ, you're the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. You make dead people to come alive. You make blind to see. You made the ones who cannot walk to walk, the ones who cannot to speak, the one who cannot hear to hear, the one who are hungry to eat, the one who are thirsty to drink, the eternal life, the eternal water. You defeat death and you even make Nazareth to come alive. You walk on water and you know you did many things and you brought justice and you shame the ones who think they are just in this world. You shame even the Pharisees, the religious leaders. You shame all of them in that day you in 2,000 years ago when you are here. So, Jesus Christ, I thank you that you are listening to this prayer. Today I'm going to talk about Europe. Because we know in the Bible, Europe is the father of Europe is Japhet in the Bible. So we're going to talk about our brother Japhet, who is European in the Bible. Yes, in the blood of Yeshua's name, amen. So now, as you see here, we have Wikipedia, and then we have Europe now. Today is Europe, yeah? I make it blue here so everybody can see it very good, yeah? Okay. So, as you see here from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, this article is about the continent for those users see Europe disambiguation. Okay? Europe is a continent comprising the westernmost peninsulas of Eurasia. So you see here, we have Eurasia. You know, Europe and Asia is actually like, you know, it's like connected. But when you look also, Asia and Africa is also connected as we look here in this map here. Right? Because here, these green dots here is Europe. And when you see here is Saudi Arabia. From Saudi Arabia, when you look here, down here, you see it's connected with, from this side of Asia, the side of Asia and Africa and Europe, from the Middle East is the place where Africa, Asia, and Europe is connected, and from North Africa to Spain is where Africa and direct to Europe is connected. So there is no continent here because now Africa, Europe, and Asia is one continent. But you know, there's some racist people, you know, they divide us. But now we are living another generation which people, they are wise to ask questions. Yes, simple as that. So let's continue but with the story, the continent of Europe, yeah? So, Europe is a continent comprising the westernmost peninsulas of Eurasia. Yeah, Eurasia, as you see in that picture, this is Eurasia here, right? Okay, Eurasia is the largest continent area of Earth, comprising all of Europe and Asia. You understand what I mean? Yeah. All of Europe and Asia is Eurasia. But what do you mean now? Is Asia other continent? Europe other continent? But we have Eurasia. We have Eurasia. I mean, Eurasia is one continent, or what is that? You know, I mean, what do you want to tell us? So, located entirely in the northern hemisphere and mostly in the eastern hemisphere. It shares the continental landmass of Afro-Eurasia. You see, now we have here Afro-Eurasia. Now, when you look here, now is where now you're going to see how Europe and Africa and Asia is connected. That's why it's called Afro-Eurasia. When you see Afro-Eurasia, that is already one continent. How can we call now Afro-Eurasia? Is that a continent, or what we call it now? We just call it like that, and they're different kind of continent? Or what do you want to tell us here? Because these ones are the ones we call them smart people who, you know, who do these histories in Wikipedia. But, you know, they can do some mistakes, you know. So for me, Afro-Eurasia is one continent. It's not different kind of continent, my friend. Okay? So, let's read here. Afro-Eurasia is the land mass comprising the continents of Africa, Asia, and Europe. Yeah, they call it continents, but it's only one continent, both of these three. The terms are compound words of the names of its constituent parts. Its mainland is the largest and most popular contiguous landmass on Earth. So here you see Africa, Eurasia. There's no America. There's no no. There's no America. There's no North America. There's no Africa and Europe and Asia. That's what we call Afro-Eurasia. You understand? Because they are connected. They are the only continents which they are most connected. There is no divide there. If something is not divided, it's one continent. So when you as an African, you live in Europe, you are not a guest in Europe. You are also in Africa because it's connected in Africa, Europe. And when a European go to Africa, you don't see himself as European. You see yourself also as African there. Yes, it's like that. You know, so let's continue. Asia. It is bordered by the Arctic Ocean to the north, the Atlantic Ocean to the west, the Mediterranean Sea to the south, and Asia to the east. Europe is commonly considered to be separated from Asia by the watersheds. Okay, you see these watersheds? Only watersheds. But there's some land is also connected. Yeah? Okay. Of the Ural Mountains, the Ural River, Ural Mountains are these ones. These are Ural Mountains, yeah? Just because of these mountains. But there is nothing to do that is not a continent with Asia. It's the same continent. Just like when you mix Europe with Asia, you already mix Asia with Africa. You know? Yeah, because Asia is like Africa. It's not like, it's Africa, actually. It's Africa and Asia is Africa is Asia and Asia is Africa. And now you have Asia and Europe connected. That means Africa, Asia, and Europe is connected. Simple as that. This is why I'm telling you now we are living in a generation with smart people asking questions. Okay, so let's continue, right? Ural Mountains, the Ural River, we have Ural River here. You see these rivers here, wonderful rivers, you know. I mean, wonderful rivers, of course. You cannot say bad because Europe is like, it's from Africa too, you know. They have very wonderful seas here, you know. You see seas, wonderful seas, very wonderful, you know. So we have rivers, I mean, yeah. We have Caspian Sea. You see the Caspian Sea? Oh, this one here, yeah, very wonderful, yeah. It's not far from Africa. It's in Europe and it's very wonderful sea, yeah. The Greater Caucasus, yeah, this is where now, you know, Caucasus, you know, Caucasus, you know, Caucasus, you know, and this is where other people, they're going to talk about Neanderthal and all that. Now, we don't want to talk about those things. So, yeah, this one here, yeah. The Great Caucasus is the major mountain range of the Caucasus Mountains. Caucasus Mountain. This is a Caucasus Mountain in Europe, right? Yeah, okay, let's go. The Black Sea, we have the Black Sea here, you know, is here, the Black Sea. We have even the Black Sea, you understand what I mean? And the waterways of the Turkish Straits, yeah? So now let's continue. Europe covers about 10.18 million kilometers. Okay? We have 3.93 million square is Europe, or 2% of Earth's surface. 6.8% of land area, making it the second smallest continent using the 7-continent model. Political, that is the second, yeah? Politically, Europe is divided into about 50 sovereign states, of which is Russia is the largest and the most populous. The most popular, as in Europe, Russia is the big. Yes, yeah? Russia is the most largest, populous, spanning 39% of the continent and comprising 50% of its population. Europe had a total population of 745 million. So, when you look Europe, the whole Europe, the people who are Europeans in Europe, their population is 745 million people. It's not yet billion, it's a million. 7 million, yeah? About 10% of the world population. That is 10% of the world population. 10%, yeah? Okay, that is really not too much, yeah? There's some country they have 700. There's one country they have some 700, 600 million people. You know, you can compare with Europe. One country. Okay. Of the continent and compressing 15% of its population, Europe had a total population of about 745 million, about 10% of the world population in 2021. The European climate is largely affected by warm Atlantic currents that temper winters and summers on much of the continent. Yeah. Even at latitudes along which the climate in Asia and North Africa is severe. Further from the sea, season differences are more noticeable than close to the coast. European culture is the root of Western civilization, which traces its lineage back to ancient Greek. So when you see Europe, Greece, you know, you're going to see Greece now here when you see Europe. Let me read it again. Okay? This is where the European culture, a European culture, that means when you see Europe, the culture of Europe, then you're going to see Greece. Wait a minute. European culture is the root of Western civilization which traces its lineage back to ancient Greece. So let's see Greece now, yeah? So you see Greece here. Ancient Greece was a northern eastern Mediterranean civilization existing from the Greek Dark Ages of the 12th to 9th centuries BC to the end of the classical antiquity. That comprised a lost collection of culturally and linguistically related cities, states, and other territories, most of this region. Okay, so we have just touched a little bit story of Greece, but we will come back. I'm a history man. We will come one day with Greece history. We'll know where they get knowledge. They get knowledge in Africa, not in Europe. So they got knowledge in Egypt. But we will come back. That history will come back there. Now today we're going to talk about Europe. So the culture of Europe comes from Greece, and the wisdom of Greece comes from Africa and Egypt. So we're going to talk those days. Okay, so the culture of Europe is the ages, is the line age back to, is the line age back to ancient Greece. That is where the European culture comes from. And then it will go to Rome. From Greece to Rome. Okay, let's continue. Traces its lineage back to ancient Greece and ancient Rome. You understand? This was Europe. Europe was not Islamic. Okay? So when you see European Muslims, they are converts. They are just a convert Europeans who are forced to be Muslims. When you go in the East Africa of Europe, this is where you're going to find more European Muslims. But when you look here, the history of Europe, you don't see any Islamic culture here. You're going to see Greece culture. Greece, they were not Muslims. You understand what I mean? Yes, this is like that now. But let's continue. So ancient Rome, let's see Rome, yeah? In modern historiograph, ancient Rome refers to Roman civilization from the founding of the Italian city of Rome in the 18th century BC to the collapse of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. It encompasses the Roman Kingdom, Roman Republic, and Roman Empire until the fall. So we're going to continue. We're going to come with the Roman history too. It will come there. Today is only, we just touch Europe a little bit. So you see, the culture of Europe was not Islamic. The culture of Europe was Romanic and Greece. It was Greece first and then went to Rome, to Italia. When you see an Italia, you're going to see half of Europe. Yeah, it's like that, my friend. You understand? So Rome is the culture. I mean, Greece and Rome, they make Europe a culture. No other person in Europe. You only see Rome, that is in Italy, and Greece, where is, I think, in East Europe. I don't know where, I think it's East. Okay? So these two countries, they brought culture in Europe. You understand what I mean? So forget all these other cultures. They came out from Rome and from Greekland, from Greece to Rome. And then after they found out their own after like that. But original culture of Europe is Greece and Rome. This is the only place where we can talk about Europe. Only these two countries. For me, I think it's only these two countries that make all Europe. Okay, let's go. The fall of Western Roman Empire in 476 CE and the related migration period makes the end of Europe's ancient history and the beginning of the Middle Ages. Yeah, Middle Ages. Now let's come. You see now, Europe was Christlish. You know, this is now Middle Ages. Because they used to believe cultures. There was no religion, I think. They were believing those cultures so now it came Middle Ages. And what is Middle Ages? In the history of Europe, the Middle Age of medieval period, yeah, lasted approximately from the late 5th to the late 15th century. Similar to the post-classical period of global history, it began with the fall of the Western Roman Empire and transitioned into the Renaissance and the age of, I think, the age of Middle Ages, yeah. So here, you know, the fall of Roman Empire is where now, the fall of the Empire of Roman, you know, first the fall of Greece, and then it went to Rome, you know, the big boss after it was Rome, and then Rome fall, you know, the fall of Western Roman Empire, yeah, it was 476, yeah. The Renaissance, okay, let's see, who are these? The Renaissance is a period in European history making the transition from the Middle Ages to modernity. You know, now Christianity, they came to make Europe to look modern. You know, so, we Christians, we brought modern in Europe. Modernity, and covering the 15th and the 16th centuries. Characterized by an effort to revive and surpass ideas and achievements of classical antiquity. It occurred after the crisis of the late Middle Age yeah, here, yeah. So, now Christianity bring modern Europe. Christianity now come the smart people now in Europe. Because they were culture, all those, they were, they are not so civilized, but Christianity brought God in Europe. You understand what I mean? So God came in Europe and make it modern. You understand what I mean? So let's go. Began in Italy, and spread to the rest of the continent, okay? So they started in Italy and spread the whole Europe. You understand what I mean? From Italy to the whole continent of Europe. So you see, I think Rome is very powerful in Europe. Continent. Bringing a renewed interest in humanism exploration. They brought art, they brought science, which led to the modern era since the age of discovery. Started by Spain and Portugal, Europe played a predominant role in global affairs between the 16th and 20th centuries. Okay. '20th century, yeah? European powers colonized. So let's see here, what is this? This is a list of former European colonized. Yeah, but why you don't put a picture there? Okay, so we have some European powers colonized. So this is where it started. From Greece to Rome, and from Rome to European power colonized. You understand? At various times, the Americas, almost all of Africa and Oceania. So this is where the European power colonized Americas, almost all of Africa and Oceania, and the majority of Asia. So I think Asia, they were also colonized by Europeans. This is Europe. This is Wikipedia Europe, what we are reading here, yeah? The age of enlightenment, the French Revolution, this is Napoleon time, the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars shaped the continent culturally, politically, and economically from the end of the 7th century until the first half of the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution, which began, Industrial Revolution, okay, let's see what is that. So this is the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, yeah? Okay, let's see what is this, yeah? The Industrial Revolution was a period of global transition of human economy towards more efficient and stable manufacturing processes that succeed the agricultural revolution, starting from Great Britain, continental Europe, and the United States, that occurred during the period of this one here, European, what we call, where is this? This one here, Industrial Revolution, yeah, which began in Great Britain. So Industrial Revolution started in Britain. It didn't start in German. It didn't start in French. It didn't start in, in Eastern Europe, like Macedonia and all those Balkans. Industrial, it didn't start there. It didn't start in other parts of Europe. It didn't even start in Greece, and it didn't even start in Italy. It started in Britain, the revolution, the Industrial Revolution. The modern the factories, modern the agriculture, the idea is Britain idea. Yeah? So the Europe, they are lucky that they have Britain, who came with the idea of Industrial Revolution, yeah? At the end of the 18th century, gave rise to radical economic. Now come those races. Cultural and social change in Western Europe, and eventually the wider world. Both world wars began and were fought to a great extent in Europe, contributing to a decline in Western European dominance in world affairs by the middle 20th century, as the Soviet Union and the United States took prominence during the Cold War. Let's see what is this Cold War. Oh, there's war. The Cold War was a period, Europe, it was always war, So the Cold War was a period of geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union, okay, and their respective allies, the Western Bloc and the Eastern Bloc. The term Cold War is used because there was no large-scale fighting directly between the two superpowers. Okay? That was the Cold War. Europe was divided along the Iron Curtain. What is this? The Iron Curtain, yeah? This is part 1 of history of Europe. The Iron Curtain was the political boundary dividing Europe into two separated. So let's see, wait a minute here. Let's read again. Where is that? Soviet Union. Whoa, wait a minute. World Cold War here, yeah? Geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union and their respective alliance, the Western Bloc and the Eastern Bloc. The term Cold War is used because there was no large-scale fighting direct between the two superpowers. So these are superpowers, United States and Soviet Union, yeah? So they were superpower in that generation, yeah? Okay? Europe was divided along Iron Curtain. The Iron Curtain was the political boundary dividing Europe into two separated areas from the end of the World War II in 1945 until the end of the Cold War in 1991. The term symbolized the efforts by the Soviet Union, USSR, to block itself and its satellite state from open contact with the West. Okay? You see that? Okay, let's go. Between NATO, what is this? Who is this? You know, because we have NATO and Russia problem here. So maybe it's because of Soviet, I don't know what. Why would they have NATO and Soviet problem? Why they have NATO with Russia problem? Because Russia was a Soviet Union and NATO, which was a Western United and all that. We don't know why this was like this. It's good to read history. Then you will know what is going on, because they are hiding. These guys, they are hiding too much things in the news. So when you research, you'll know the answer. The North Atlantic Treaty. You know, NATO means the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, also called the North Atlantic Alliance. That is NATO. Is an intergovernmental military alliance between 31 member states, 29 Europeans, and 2 North American. Established in the aftermath of World War II, the organization implemented the North Atlantic Treaty signed in. Okay, so you see, this is now now we know about it. Yeah. That is NATO. So we know who is NATO. In the West and the Warsaw Pact in the East until the revolution of 1989, fall of the Berlin Wall, and the dissolution of the Soviet Union. The European Union and the Council of Europe are two. So let's put some African instruments relaxing. Okay. So the European Union, wait a minute, where we are. The Berlin Wall and the dissolution of Soviet Union. So now let's come to European Union, yeah? The European Union, who is this? Okay, let's go. We have to research every details here, right? So this is the European Union. As we see, how many stars they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stars. So there's a meaning why it's 12 stars in the European Union. You know, so there is, you know, there's a meaning here. Why it's 12? Why not 13 stars? Why not 20 stars? Why 12? Okay, let's go. The European Union, EU, is a supranational political and economical union of 27 members states that are located primarily in Europe. The union has a total area of 4 million kilometers, 1.1 million square meter, and an estimated total population of 447 million. So the ones who are in Europe, the population of European Union is 447 million people who are inside Europe, European Union, yeah. 447 million people in European Union. So, and the Council of Europe. Okay, who is this? The Council of Europe is an international organization founded in the wake of World War II to uphold human rights, democracy, and the rule of law in Europe. Founded in 1949, it has 46 member states with a population of approximately 600. This one is too much. 675 million population. In the Council of Europe, it operates with an annual. Okay, that's we will continue thereafter. another part we're going to continue. We're going to go details. The Council of Europe are two important international organizations aiming to represent the European continent on a political level. The Council of Europe was founded in 1948 with the idea of unifying Europe to achieve common goals and prevent future wars. Further European integration by some states led to the formation of the European Union, a separate political entity that lies between a confederation and a federation. The EU originated in Western Europe but has been expanding eastwards. Like Balkan, expanded there. But it started in Western Europe, not in Eastern Europe. So the people with big ideas, they are Western Union. This is what they want to tell us now. Western Europeans. This is what they want to tell us. So the other ones, they don't have ideas. This is what you want to tell us or what? Okay, so I don't want to say that. It's not me saying that. It's the story. The history is saying that. That the idea started from the Western Europeans. Okay. European Union, okay. This is what they think. As the Council of Europe are two important international organizations aiming to represent European continent, okay, third way, unifying Europe to achieve common goals and prevent future wars. Further, European integration by some states led to the formation of the European Union, a separate political entity that lies between a confederation and a federation. The EU originated in the Western Europe but has been expanding eastward since the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991. A majority of its members have adopted a common currency, the euro, and a large block of countries are Schengen area have abolished internal border and immigration controls. Okay, so here what we have name. Okay, further information, Europa. In classical Greece or Europa, ancient Greek was a Phoenician princessin. Phoenician princessin, eh? So Europe is a princessin. Is a Phoenician princessin. Okay, Phoenicia was an ancient thalassocratic civilization originating in the Levant region of the Eastern Mediterranean, primarily located in modern Lebanon. Lebanon? Lebanon? Is Lebanon in Europe or in Africa? Okay, forget it. The territory of the Phoenicians extended and shrunk throughout history, with the core of their culture strengthening. So the name Europe is a princessin for where somewhere a Phoenician princess. One view is that her name derives from the ancient Greek elements broad and ifes contournants, hence their composite word mean wide gazing or broad or aspect. Broad has been an epithet. What is this? Epithet also by name is a descriptive term known as accompanying or occurring in the place of a name and having entered common usage. It has various shades of meaning when applied to seemingly real or fictitious people, definitives, objects, and binomial nomenclature. It can also be of art. Broad has been an epithet of art herself in the reconstructed Proto-Indo-European region, and the poetry devoted to it. An alternative view is that of Robert Becks. Who is this guy? Robert Becks. We're gonna go look that after. Who has urged in favor of a pre-Indo-European origin of the name, explaining that the derivation from Oirus would yield a different toponym than Europa. Becks has located toponyms related to that of Europa in the territory of ancient Greece, and localities such as that Oropos in ancient Macedonia. Okay, so now when we look here, actually Europe is a woman. You understand what I mean? But in the Bible, Europe is a man, which his name is Japhet. But in Greece philosophy, Europe is a woman. I don't say it's bad. I love women, you know. Okay? So, territory of ancient Greece. So Greece, I think, is playing more major part in Europe. I think 90% part of European culture and thinking and behavior, I think it comes from Greece. Because the people who have wisdom also in 2000 years ago, they were not Romans, they were not Germans, Germanic, they were not other people, they were Greece is the head, I think, in Europe. Greece was the head. It was the intellectual person in the whole Europe. So there have been attempts to connect Europe to a Semitic term for West. This being either Akkadian? Who is that? What is this? I mean, we're going to go deep here. Akkadian is an extinct East Semitic language that was spoken in ancient Mesopotamia. Now Mesopotamia. Now we are coming to the Bible. Wait. Mesopotamia is in the Bible. From the 3rd millennium BC until its gradual replacement by Akkadian influence, Old Aramaic, among Mesopotamians by the 18th century BC. You see, it's good to learn things. Okay? Okay, Akkadian, yeah? So let's go down here a little bit again. We were in Akkadian. There's another name, Erepu, meaning to go down. Oh, okay, Europe means to go down. Erepu means to go down. Said of the sun, or Phoenician, Erep, evening, west, which is at the origin of Arabic, Maghreb, and Hebrew, and of that in Arabic is Maghreb, and in Hebrew is Maraf. Martin Litchfield West started that phonologically the match between Europa's name and any form of the Semitic word is very poor, while Becks considers a connection to Semitic language improbable. Most major word language used words derived from Europe or Europa. to refer to the continent Chinese. For example, use the word I cannot speak that language. It's a Chinese word, which is an abbreviation of the transliterated name, means continent. A similar Chinese derived term is also sometimes used as Japanese, such as in a Japanese name of the European Union. Despite the katakana Europa being more commonly used in some Turkic languages, the originally Persian name Frangistan, land of the Franks, is used casually in referring to much of Europe, beside official names such as Afrupa or Efrupa. So you see how they were calling Europe? Efrupa, Afrupa. Europa, Afrupa, Efrupa, you know? So let's go. Definition. Further information: boundaries between the continent of Earth, Asia and Europe. See also. Okay, so here we have, let's jump here. The prevalent definition of Europe as a geographic term has been in use since the middle 19th century. Europe is taken to be bounded by large bodies of water to the north, west and south. Europe's limits to the east and northeast are usually taken to the, let me see first something here. Okay. Taken to the Ural Mountains, the Ural River and the Caspian Sea. To the southeast, the Caucasus Mountains, the Black Sea, and the waterways connecting the Black Sea to the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Islands are generally grouped with the nearest continental landmass. Hence, Iceland is considered to be part of Europe, while the nearby island of Greenland is usually assigned to North Americans. Although politically belongs to Denmark, nevertheless, there are some exceptions based on socio-political and cultural differences. Cyprus is closest to Anatolia. I think Anatolia. Where is that? Anatolia is I think in Turkey, yeah? Or Asia Minor, but is considered part of Europe politically, and it is a member state of Europe. As used specifically in British English, may also refer to continental Europe exclusively. The term continent usually applies the physical geography or a large land mass. Thank you very much. Thank you for writing that. Now here you are exposing the people who are brainwashing people, because the term continent means a large land mass completely here. So when we take what is written here, and then we're gonna see that Europe, Asia and Africa is large land mass, complete. It's not separated, it's complete connected, or almost completely surrounded. You see what I mean here? You see? You see what I mean here? almost surrounded with water. What is the meaning of continent? A continent is a large land mass completely or almost completely surrounded by water. This is just like Europe, Africa, and Asia is like that. Why all of these three, they are not one continent? Why people, they want to separate? You know why they separate? Because, Africa, they are dark. And Asia, they don't look like Europeans. And other people, so they separate, but is one country. I don't say all Europe, they think like that, but the ones who are in power, they are a little bit racist. The ones who are not in power, they don't know this. They are not so smart. They cannot research this. They will think, oh you, no. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is key. Don't care what people they will think when you speak the truth. So let's go. The large land mass completely or almost completely surrounded by water. Yeah. At its borders. Prior to the adoption of the current convention that includes mountain divides, the borders between Europe and Asia had been redefined several times since its first conception in classical antiquity, but always as a series of rivers, seas, and straits that were believed to extend an unknown distance east and north from the Mediterranean Sea without the inclusion of any mountain ranges. Cartographer Hermann Moll suggested in 1715 Europe was bounded by a series of party-joined waterways directed towards the Turkish Straits and the Irtysh River, draining into the upper part of Ob River and the Arctic Ocean. In contrast, the present eastern boundary of Europe partially adheres to the Ural and Caucasus mountain, which is somewhat arbitrary and inconsistent compared to any clear-cut definition of the term continent. Okay, let me see. History, yes, let's come here. That is very, very important. Now we are coming to the early history. So I have this early history, so I have I think 30 minutes. I hope I'm going to do this. Maybe 20 minutes. The first recorded usage of Europa as a geographic term is in the Homeric hymn to Delian Apollo. Oh, Apollo. Are you fucking kidding me now? Okay, Apollo in the Bible is the devil. But I hope it's not that Apollo in the Bible. It's another Apollo. I hope. In the reference to the western shore of the Aegean Sea as a name of a part of the known world, it is first used in the 6th century BC by Anaximander. Who is this? Anaximander. Anaximander was a pre-Socratic Greek. I mean, come on. I think Europe is Greece. We don't have to talk now too much now here. I think Europe is Greece. After Greece, then they came Romans. There is no other people in Europe. I think Greece is the one who is, I think, controlling these people here. Anaximander was a pre-Socratic Greek philosopher who lived in Miletus, a city of Ionia. He belonged to the Milesian school and learned the teaching of his master Thales. He succeeded Thales and became the second master of the school, where he counted Anaximenes. What about Apollo? I think this is a Roman. You see, you only see Roman and Greece. In Europe, they are the only people we're going to see them as Europeans. The other ones, they came out from them. So Apollo or Apollon is one of the Olympian deities. Olympian, not in the Bible. Olympian. So these are Greece, these are Olympians, Olympian deities in classical Greek and Roman religion. You see now, we have a Roman religion and a Greece religion, not from the Bible. These are other religion. It's nothing to do with the Bible, nothing to do with Christianity. This Greek and Roman religion is nothing to do with Christianity. Okay? I think this is culture they make it to be religion. I don't know. And Greek and Roman mythology. The national divinity of the Greeks, Apollo, has been recognized as a god of Acheri. You see? A god of Acheri. So I mean, this Apollo is a god in Greece and in Roman culture and Roman philosophy or Roman mythology. Music and dance, truth and prophecy, healing and diseases, the sun and light. So Apollo is all this, right? So this guy is playing God, Apollo now, Okay. So we have that, and we have as a name of a part of the known world. It is first used in the 16th century BCE by Anaximander and Hecatus. Who is this? Hecatus of Miletus, son of Hegesander. Hegesander was an early Greek historian and geographer. You see? Hegesander, okay? We're going to get this. Anaximander placed the boundary between Asia and Europe along the Phasis River, the modern Rioni River, on the territory of Georgia. Okay. It's coming slowly. Georgia, the history now. In the Caucasus mountain, in Caucasus, a convection still followed by Herodotus. Who is this? I think it's a Greek. It's always going to be Greek or Roman. You don't see a German god here. So let's continue, right? Okay, Herodotus. Who is this? So you see, this is a Greece. This we're going to find is also a Greece or a Roman. Herodotus was a Greek, you see? Was a Greek historian and geographer from the Greek city of Halicarnassus, part of the Persia Empire, and the later citizen of Turi in modern Calabria. Calabria. Calabria is also in Italy. So it's a Greece, but in Italy. Where is this now again? Here, yeah? Here, yeah? In modern Calabria, Italy. He is known for having written the stories, a detailed account of the Greco-Persia Wars. You see? So it was always wars. Greco-Persia Wars, it was always war, In the 15th century BCE, Herodotus mentioned that the world had been divided by an unknown person into the three parts of Europe, Asia and Libya in Africa. You see? You only see Europe, Asia and Africa. With the Nile, that is in Egypt. Now when we come to history, you have to put Africa there. European history, you have to touch Africa a little bit. And the first is forming their boundaries, though he also stated that some consider the River Don rather than the Phasis as the boundary between Europe and Asia. Europe's eastern frontier was defined in the 1st century by geographer Strabo. Who is this Strabo? Strabo was a Greek geographer, philosopher, and historian who lived in Asia Minor during the transitional period of the Roman Republic into the Roman Empire. Strabo, at the River Don, the Book of Jubilee. The Book of Jubilee. That's why they remove it in the Bible. Describe the Book of Jubilee is actually the Book of Jubilee, sometimes called Lesser Genesis, Leptogenesis, is an ancient Jewish religious work of 50 chapters considered canonically by the Ethiopian Orthodox. You have to touch Africa. Ethiopia is in Africa. You speak history of Europe, you need to touch Africa. Ethiopian Orthodox Church as well as Beta Israel, where it is known as the Book of Division. Jubilee is considered one of the... Let's continue. You have to touch Africa. Okay. Strabo at the river, the Book of Jubilee, described by the continents as the lands given by Noah. We're going back to the Bible again. Noah. Hello? I tell you, Europe is Christianity. When you see a Muslim Europe, he is not a European. So let's go to Noah. We know about Noah in the Bible. To his 3 sons. Now I'm coming now. 3 sons of Noah. I hope they will put the father of Europe in 3 sons of Noah, who his name is who? Japhet. Thank you very much. I hope it will come, the story of Europe. Europe was defined as stretching from the pillars of Hercules at the Strait of Gibraltar, separating it over Northwest Africa to the Don, separating it from Asia. The convention received by the Middle Age and surviving into the modern usage is that of the Roman era, used by Roman era authors such as Posidonius, Strabo, Ptolemy, who took the Tanais, the modern Don River, as the boundary. The Roman Empire did not attach a strong identity to the concept of continental division. However, following the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the culture that developed in its place, linked to the Latin and the Catholic Church, began to associate itself with the concept of Europe. The term Europe is first used for a cultural sphere in the Carolingian Renaissance of the 19th century. From the time the term designated the sphere of influence of the Western Church, not mosque, church, as opposed to both the Eastern Orthodox churches and the Islamic world. Islamic world came after. This is where the Islamic come after in Europe, but Europe was not Islamic. As we see the history of Europe here now, a cultural definition of Europe as the lands of Latin Christendom coalesces in the 18th century, signifying the new cultural condominium created through the confluence of Germanic. Now we're going to hear about Germanic. Now Germanic is appearing now in the history now. Germanic traditions and Christian Latin culture defined partly in contrast with Byzantium and Islam, and limited to northern Iberia. Who is Byzantium? Wait a minute. Okay, it's a city. In Byzantium is I think it's a Greece city somewhere in Greece. The British isol France Christianized Western Germany, the Alpine region. Okay, that is I think like Swiss region, and northern and central Italy. The concept is one of the lasting legacies of the Carolingian Renaissance, Europa often. Figures in the letters of the Calamandrian court scholar, Alcuin, I cannot say these names, the transition of Europe to being a cultural term as well as a geographic one led to the borders of the Europa being affected by cultural consideration in East, especially relating to areas under Byzantine, Ottoman, and Russian influence, such as questions were affected by the positive connotations associated with the term Europa by its users. Such cultural considerations were not applied to the Americas, despite their conquest and settlement by European states. Instead, the concept of Western civilization emerged as a way of grouping together Europa and these colonies. So we're gonna stop here, my friend, and in the part 2 we're gonna start of modern definition. Okay, we're gonna continue part 2 of Europe, the history of Europe. We're gonna read about modern definition. Okay, we're gonna go deep. This is just the touching. But the grabbing is coming. Okay, so Abel Combo, I'm back, the history man, you know what I mean? So I'm Combo Abel, I'm African, you know, I'm African, I'm Asian, and I'm a European. You know what I mean? I'm one in one continent. You understand what I mean? So me, I don't like other people. I research stories, I research history, and then I find myself who I am. So when I see myself now here, the history of Europe, I'm a Tom. I'm both. I'm African, Asian, and Europe. Sorry for that. I don't care what you're going to listen here. The history, you're going to give us answers. Combo Abel, I'm back. So I'm going to stop from here. We're going to pray. I'm a Christian. So we have to praise God to give us wisdom to know and all that. As I see here in the history of Europe, there is a history of Noah with his 3 sons. You understand what I mean? Yes, Noah with his 3 sons. And this is where I'm telling you, this is Noah with the 3 sons. This is where the first son of Noah, his name is Japheth, he's the one who found out Europe. Not Greece and not Roman philosophy. In the Bible, there's the truth about Europe. Not these Greece gods and Romans gods. Forget that. The God in the Bible. Not a Greek god and other gods here. Yeah. The God in the Bible, it will tell you where Europe come from. But as we see here, Wikipedia is mixing Greece, Rome, and then the Bible, you see Noah. You know? So that's why it's good you research things. Information is very important. Education is the key. But how to get that key, you need education. So let's see. Combo Abel, I'm back. I'm going to close here from here. God bless God bless Europe too, my friend. Yeah. To remove all these demons and all those people also, to remove all these evil thinking, racistic thinking, and all these demons who went inside in Europe, in the heads of Europeans, they start behaving racistic, behaving I don't know what. These are demons. These are not, it's just a body is European, but inside him is a demon. So let's go back to the root of history of Europe. Then you will find out when you read you will find out that the way you are acting now, racistic, you'll find out you are demonic. You are not a real true history of Europe. So let's go. Back, Combo Abel, God bless you, let's pray. Combo Abel Combo, so please, Father God, me as Combo Abel, I'm begging you that I thank you that you give me power to start the part 1 of history of Europe. So give me another, give me wisdom to understand what I'm reading. Give me wisdom to calculate things. Give me wisdom to understand difficult things. Give me wisdom to defeat difficult things. Yeah. Okay. So protect me from any hate here in Europe. Protect me from open the doors here in Europe of work. Open the doors of successful life. Open the doors of financial. Close the doors of sickness. Close the door of the devil. Close the door to devil in my life. Close the door to all evil spirits. Close the door to all satanic spirits. Anything which is not from Yahweh, anything which is not from the Bible, please close it out in the name of Yeshua's name. Amen. So, see you guys. We're going to see you.